It's just after 8 minutes in game when our Vi player arrives back in base and is faced with a choice. Does she go topside for the Rift Herald or botside for the Dragon? This has been the question that every League of Legends player has faced since Rift Herald's inclusion to the game in late 2015. So which one should you prioritize? When should you prioritize it? And overall, which objective is better out of the two? That's what we're interested today. Now before we get into the video, I wanted to say with full transparency, I am strongly Team Rift Herald. I'll do my best to remain objective and still point out when Dragon is the better option, but as you'll soon find out, Rift Herald brings with it some incredibly strong advantages that I'm really excited to share with you in today's video.
My name's Rogue and I played League of Legends professionally for 7 years. Now I'm a full-time content creator and coach for all ranks Iron through to Challenger. So if you want more information of what a coaching session with me will look like, you can find more information by following the link in the video description below.
While you're in the description, you'll also find the link to my Patreon, where I post all of the recordings of my best coaching sessions in full. With collections sorted by role and rank, including sessions where I've coached for professional level teams, you can get a glimpse into what pro level League of Legends look like from the inside. No matter what you're looking for, you'll easily be able to find something that's going to help you improve, no matter your rank. Now finally, I want to say thank you to those who do support me. It's because of you guys I get to keep making videos like this, so thank you. Taking us back to the intro where our Vi player has an important decision to make between Dragon and Rift Herald. Well, before she decides, we need to firstly take in some information and decide where we're capable of winning a fight. And in this replay, that's super easy to do just by checking the scoreboard. In top lane, our Mordekaiser is a pretty sizable lead over Kayle. Not only this, but Vi and Mordekaiser are amazing champions at Kayle and are sure to win a 2v2 in this area. But meanwhile in bot lane, things aren't going so well. Our bot lane is 0-3, and our Pantheon has spent his first 1000 gold on shoes that just make him run fast. We're definitely not going to be winning any 3v3 skirmishes on this side of the map. Just by doing this check, the decision has become super easy for us. Before we even consider anything else, we have to remember that neutral objectives are fundamentally a way to start a team fight. Now obviously, we don't want to challenge our opponents to a fight in a lane where we're 0-3, and our support has wasted what little gold he did had on a new pair of fresh orange kicks. So in this way, the objective you want to take is most often decided by the conditions of the game, forcing you to take the objective that you're in a position to fight. So in short, Vi should take Herald here. But what do you do when both options seem equal? Well, there's a good argument that at lower ranks like Iron, Bronze and Silver, that Dragon is much better since the game times are generally much longer at these ranks and are more often decided by a Dragon Soul. In coaching sessions I've done with students at these lower ranks, an early gold lead usually gets thrown away most of the time, but a Dragon Soul is something that your team simply can't throw. Even the bounty gold from turret plates that having a Rift Herald will give you is somewhat of a double-edged sword, since it's yet another possibility for a throw if you or your team misplays. But if you're playing at a higher rank, or if you're confident in your ability to play well and to snowball, Rift Herald will generally provide a far higher reward. But not just this, by having the Rift Herald, you're able to play the game at a much faster pace than previously, since your plays are much more likely to work, because you have the Rift Herald to use to force a play if needed. In this replay we're looking at now, our Graves player is in a very similar situation to our Vi from the intro. It's just after 8 minutes and our Graves player is coming off base, and we have to make the decision to play for Herald or to play for Dragon. Which one do we choose? Now obviously we know the decision to make here. Our top side's doing well and our bot side's not doing so great. So we're going to let that choose our objective for us and we're going to take the Rift Herald. Good job. Now this leaves us in a pretty interesting position after taking the Rift Herald. Now Graves is a very farming jungler. He needs to do his camps and he needs to follow very specifically where he can get farm and XP. Now if you look at Graves' minimap, his entire jungle is alive. There's 5 camps to farm. So logic would dictate that he goes for these camps over something like the risk of a gank. Because if he goes for a gank and doesn't get a kill, it's really sad because he could have been farming his jungle instead. But now that he has the Rift Herald, this isn't a concern. Any play that he will go for is always going to give a reward. And the reward of doing a play with the Rift Herald is going to be higher than the reward of just simply doing his camps. Now Graves does go for a play onto top lane, and it's kind of a catastrophe. Nothing really works out. The enemy is here to counter it. The enemy Shaco is forced to defend, which is probably the best play that Shaco can make. And our Graves player doesn't get a ton out of it, but he does get a ton of tower plates. If we just check Graves' gold now, he's got about 1200 gold. So in the space of about 30 seconds, he's made about 600 gold off waves and tower plates. So in the worst case situation, Graves has made more farm from placing Herald top than he would have from farming his jungle anyway. Taking us back to the moment where Graves just finished the Rift Herald, and this is what the gold looks like. But then just 1 minute later after getting those 3 plates top lane, and now the gold looks like this. Shaco and Quinn each gained 600 gold in that time, totaling 1200 gold gained between the two of them, whilst their opponents Shaco and Garen each only gained 200 gold, totaling just 400 gold gained. In the absolute worst case scenario with the Rift Herald, Graves was able to gain a gold lead the equivalent of 3 kills, which means that on the next recall immediately preceding the play, Graves was able to complete his Gore Drinker, being the first person in the game to have a completed item. Then with the fast mythic item power spike Graves has, he's able to get the dragon anyway, since the enemy just isn't brave enough to fight him when he's on a power strike this strong. So for a carry jungler especially, you can already see how the greediness of a Rift Herald giving you guaranteed income is generally far more valuable than the team-wide objective of a dragon. But remember, this was an example of the absolute worst case scenario, where the enemy successfully blocks our Rift Herald play with their jungler under tower defending. The vast majority of players don't know how to react correctly to an enemy who is holding Rift Herald. So it's incredibly easy in solo queue to get a game-ending playoff with your Rift Herald against an enemy who just simply doesn't know that they need to play to block you. Now in a final example, we're going to see an example of what happens in a replay where the enemy jungler doesn't have the correct response to someone holding Rift Herald. Now this is what you can come to expect most of the time in your solo queue games, because most players don't know that they need to protect against a Rift Herald play. So we start off as always, prioritizing the Rift Herald over Dragon because we want to make that greedy play, and we're here because our top laner is winning, with the enemy Cho'Gath being 0-2. Now that's very important because at the moment we finish the Rift Herald, like in the Graves replay, we have that choice to go fast now. Not only do we have Rift Herald, but we're also on a side of the map with a teammate who is massively ahead of their opponent, meaning that plays are easy to force and carry a much higher reward because we have so much gold to do tower with and ease of execution. So we instantly skip and go for our play when we notice something peculiar. Graves is bot side. And the moment we spot him, we instantly get the green light to go for our play. Now Graves has no option to trade here. If he wants to do something like try and kill our bot lane, work on our bot tower, or take a dragon, he's going to trade down massively. It is not an option. His only option is defend against this play, and he's made a mistake showing on the other side, and very often you'll see people doing something like going for a gank on bot lane when you're off vision. And if you're quick enough and can capitalize on the other side of the map, we can make a play like this. So we simply get the top tower killed, we get the kill on Cho'Gath. Now noticeably, Cho'Gath managed to use his ultimate to kill the Rift Herald in time with his dying breath. If that Rift Herald had stayed alive, this would have gone very badly. And at this moment, Graves is still trying to secure the dragon, only before realizing that it's just not going to happen. He's already losing his tier 2 tower, and this is a massive gold swing, so he's forced to recall and come and try and defend. Now with our Rift Herald still alive, this probably would have meant a third tower, but even just by checking the gold that our top side has made in this sequence, it's very clear that this was worth. With just one well-executed Herald play, blue team went from being down by 1,500 gold, to then being up by 1,500 gold over their opponents. Now this is why Rift Herald is so incredibly broken for solo queue when used correctly. A single misstep from Graves here resulted in a gold swing of 3,000, and completely turned this game around for blue team. But this misstep by Graves to try and trade a dragon against an enemy who was holding a Rift Herald is a very, very common one I see constantly in my coaching sessions. Rift Herald has incredible snowball potential in solo queue for this exact reason. So if you're confident enough to find the play, and then disciplined enough to not throw away that lead once you've made it, it's of my opinion that Rift Herald is almost always better than Dragon. Thanks for watching.